Now, oops, there we're now live. Welcome, Litong Zhen to the production. So we're talking to Lee. She is in Los Angeles right now, and she's just moved out there in February. So if first thing is like a check-in as far as like, how are you doing? What is your living situation like? And what is it, how are things out in Los Angeles right now?
I'm doing good. Quarantine right now, staying at home. I haven't gone out in almost a few weeks now. I'll go out to the front of my house to get some sun in or something and like go for like short walks in the neighborhood. But I haven't really been out. I moved to LA in February, at the end of February. My transition was from Chicago to LA. And I did have a job here, so I pretty much moved to LA for work. And then so March was the day of the project I was working on. In March, we had, and then we shot for a week, and then they called it a hiatus for 3 weeks. So we got shut down. That's when I think our lockdown order was. When was our lockdown order? It was like I have to look at my calendar.
I think it was the end of March, right? Yeah.
I think.
Did I lose you? Did I lose you, Lee?
It was near the end of March.
So the end of March. I don't know. I seem to not be having a really great signal. Oh, I lost you entirely. Oh, so this is the first time this has happened to me where I totally lost someone that was supposed to be on the line. So hopefully Lee will come back soon. And I'm sure she'll appear in a second and she'll realize that she's gone away and I will be able to see her again. Oh, Lee, where are you? Well, nobody's watching now anyway, so I think that it's probably okay. She'll come back in a second. Let me see. Am I actually live on my own page? Where did she go? Maybe she'll come back. We're gonna put this into standby mode here. Please stand by. Put this into standby mode here. Please stand by. Oh, you're back. Hi.
I am. I'm lagging really badly.
Nope, I haven't put it up yet, so I put it into standby. Here we are.
Okay.
We're back.
Where did we leave off? It was the signal was really bad.
Okay, so you're telling me how you just moved out there at the end of March.
So
I did want to also, I have to say, so you never know who's reading your posts, Lee, and I want you to know that I am reading your posts because whatever you were going through at that time, I think there was like a 10,000 word essay that you put up about the wet markets and the people's reaction and all that was going on with that. And then you were talking about what it was like to go shopping and everything. And I just want to say that, like, that was one of the reasons why I started these broadcasts, because I felt like I wanted to know more about what life was like for you. And
I can't hear you because
you can't hear me. Is it not working?
I can't hear you. The audio is like.
Is it not working? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me talking? No? Oh, I lost you again. Please stand by. Are you back? Can you hear me? Is that working for you? Can you hear me at all?
Hi.
Are you hearing me better?
Yeah, the audio is breaking, but
Is it still breaking up? Oh, you put in like a little earbud thing
too.
Is that better?
Yeah, I did. I'm trying to see if this is better, but it's still breaking up. Maybe it's, I don't know what it is. Hang on. Let me see if
I think it's just like huge amounts of traffic, right? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of traffic.
A lot of traffic right now. Can you hear my dog? She's being super noisy.
Oh, I don't know how to make this better. Let me.
You on your are you on your phone?
Go.
Are you talking to me from a phone or from a computer?
Can you hear?
I can. Yeah. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? No? No, I lost her again. Molly, come here. Come here. Come on. Are you back? Hello? How's that?
Do you guys have? Do you have? Okay, it's better.
Better? That's
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have this issue on your previous calls, or is it just maybe my connection is really bad?
I think it might be the connection, and maybe it's because it's LA that it's so fluky. But I can hear you better now.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, we just like keep freezing, and the connection is like really, really bad. But it's better now. Hopefully, it stays this way.
Okay, hopefully it'll stay in, and maybe someone will watch now. Now that it's working, because nobody's really watched now anyway. But that's okay. I'll start it from. I'll just pick it up from here. And so you were telling. So did you hear me tell you that you're one of the reasons why I decided to do these broadcasts? Did you tell me that?
Oh, really? I did. Oh, I had no idea. Wow.
Well, yes, because like I was. So what I was saying is that. You know, you don't know who reads your Facebook pages, but I've been reading your Facebook posts, and when you're talking about I like your 10,000 word essay that you'd written.
10,000 word essay.
Yes, that, and then what it was like when you moved out to LA and just having to go shopping and filling your cart full of things, and the way people were like looking at you for what you were putting in your cart. I just felt like I wanted to see how you're doing and check in and see how things are. So where in LA are you, and what kind of neighborhood have you guys settled in? And you're there with you and your fiance?
Yeah, he came out to visit for a little bit, and then Michigan had the lockdown order, so he decided to stay here. And then we're both quarantined in LA right now.
Okay, so he doesn't live in LA yet.
He doesn't live in LA yet. We still have a home in Michigan. Our family's there. His family's there. So he still has work there. He's been looking for work here, but it's a slow process.
Yeah.
And I think this is also not the greatest time to look for a new job.
Sure. Right.
Yeah.
Well, and who knew, right?
Like, yeah, it just happened so fast. Like,
so what were you working on before the shutdown happened?
Before the shutdown happened, the last year and 9 months, like the last 21 months, I was actually living and working in Chicago. I was working on different TV shows with like the local Chicago crew, and I moved from Michigan to Chicago like back in June 2018. It was a silent move. I didn't really tell anybody, and then also didn't really tell anybody. People knew I was there, but I didn't really like officially announce it that I was like moving or anything. Right. It was like a 5-hour drive back and forth from Michigan to Chicago, and my fiance was still in Michigan, and he wasn't willing to move yet at that point in time. So I was traveling back and forth a little bit, and I was working in Chicago, and I was working on a project called Station 11 in Chicago before I moved to LA, and then we had an LA unit that was shooting in California. That was I got lucky and came with the crew from Chicago, and the Chicago crew also did the LA unit. So I came out for that, and then that transitioned into my LA job. So the transition was very tight, and it was very challenging with the move and everything, and deciding to do it and take it on. So all of this happened at the end of February. Okay. So I wrapped Station 11, but during that I was also moving from Chicago here and moving myself. So drove myself, my fiance and me drove down here with everything packed.
Yeah.
And then while we were doing that, we were staying with a friend with our stuff like in their house and everything. And then during that process too, while I was still on Station 11, we did like I think a 4-day shoot and then a 3-day wrap. So during that time, I was also apartment hunting.
Oh my gosh.
And then that transitioned into my next job starting in March 9th. But then in between, I had a couple days off to settle down and get everything together. So everything was very hectic during the end of February. And one thing led to another and led to another. And then this COVID-19 just happened so fast. I guess it didn't happen fast. It happened fast for like citizens, for us. But I think it was slowly building up behind the scenes. Like nobody knew. Like it was on the news. It was here. You caught wind of it here and there. But then it really hit fast and hard. Because the LA official lockdown order was March 19th, and my job here started in LA started March 9th, and then we shot from March 9th to March 13th, and that was only 1 week of shooting. And then they were like, we're shutting production down. We called when the Universal was shutting down. And then March 13th, everybody was like, we don't know, we're going to be shooting production is going to go on for the next week or not, or what's happening, it's being decided right now. So everything just happened really fast. And everybody's having emergency meetings every night after wrap to see what's going on. So official order came the last day of shooting on the 13th. They were like, yep, we're going to go on hiatus for 2 weeks. And then 1 week, the first week of hiatus, and then there were like another official email came out. They were like, we're going to have another week of hiatus, and then another week of hiatus, and that turned to like the furlough. And they were like, production shutting down indefinitely. And then it just slowly progressed, but at the same time it hit really fast and hard.
So what do you think? When do you think they'll go back? I mean, is there any indication?
To be honest, I don't think everybody wants to go back to work. I think right now, I think because, after being quarantined for a while, we're going to run low on funds, like paying rent, bills, and everything is just going to pile up, and everybody's itching to go back to work. But the thing is it safe to go back to work? And I think safety is always first, especially in production.
Yeah.
Because in production, there's so much people, every crew and cast member touch everything. We're working in close quarters, and so I think safety is always first. I don't think if there's anything, if there's no safety protocol in place, or if there's no cure or vaccine in place, I think taking chances is very risky. So I think the safest is really stay at home and practice good hygiene and do what the CDC recommends, and just fight the fight and just, establish new routines until we're back at work. But I think right now, I think if the industry opens up and everybody goes back to work, I think it's going to be really busy. Everybody wants to shoot something. Like I've been just binge watching like every show that I have been wanting to watch but haven't gotten a chance to, and then like after it ends, I'm just like, oh wow, I'm like, now I really want to see like season 3, season 4, like whatever the next season is. And I'm just like, these seasons are probably halfway into production and got
shut down
and went into hiatus, so it's shut down. So there's like shows basically a lot of shows being put on hold. And I think once production opens up, everybody wants to go back to work. And everybody wants to shoot something and put out the next season and whatnot. But I think everything just happened so fast, and I think eventually, I still have a feeling because they're still in search of a vaccine and a cure, and there's really no solution to this virus. I think it might take a while. We could be looking.
Right. We might be doing these video calls.
Even the end of your year.
We do have someone watching, so I have to say hi to Brenda, who's in to watch us and support our show. So we do have someone watching.
Hi, Brenda.
Exactly. So can you tell us, for people that don't know, so part of what I want to do here is kind of explain what different positions are for people that are thinking about a career in production. And I think that, so many of us are used to like kind of the ups and downs as far as feast or famine. So can you describe for me, like, what is an assistant camera person even do? And maybe the difference between a first and a second and some of the different roles that are in the camera department?
Okay. Camera department. So my usually I get hired as an assistant camera, or utility or loader, depending on the job, depending on the crew and how they're crewing up and everything, and what they need to fill, what positions they need to fill in. So usually I get asked to on second, or be a loader, or be a utility, and depending on the budget and the size of the show and everything. And but in camera department, there's a whole village of people. There's the director of photography, there's the operators, there's the first AC, second AC, the DIT, the film or digital loader, and there's the camera or digital UV. So that's a whopping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people on one camera. That's a full team. That's a full team. So on corporate videos, on music videos, on commercials, sometimes on smaller projects, they don't have all 7 people on that one camera.
A lot smaller.
Yeah, it's like depending on the budget and the size, they could trim that 7 people camera team into a very small camera team. But usually the is definitely it's always there. That's like, and then there sometimes on a smaller job, like the DP would also operate. But then but I think we should focus on the full team, like the full team on a bigger size project. I think that's how a legitimate big budget show is run with
like a show that you're going to watch on television, like a show that you're on Netflix. They're going to have like the full camera team, and they have a full operation like all the time. So so go ahead if you want to explain that. Also, when did you first figure out, like, oh, this movie thing or this camera department, this is what I'm going to do? When did you figure that out?
I think really when I was in school, it started with MCFA, Michigan Film. What is it? Michigan Creative Film Alliance. That was run by Juanita Anderson from Wayne State University. That was a collaboration between Michigan State, Wayne State, and U of M, and we got a student crew together to work on a 30-minute short narrative, and then
That
all
was-
of us got to really
That was
learn
during
what
when the
each
film
role
incentive
was.
was going. The film incentive was going on at that time, right?
The film,
That was
yeah,
all
the film
part of it.
incentive was going on at that time, and I think that program got a bit of this, got a cut of this film incentive to make it happen. I think that's
Sure.
what happened. If I'm wrong, Juanita.
No, I think at the time, like they were trying to do everything to
but I
educate
think it was.
so that they could put more people into those positions, and it worked, right? Because you
Yeah.
got the camera, you got
Yeah.
into that department because of that program
In
at West
camera.
State.
Yeah.
In camera, and
Yeah.
probably
During
done
that,
it otherwise. So I guess it's another success story. Another success story and a failure story because you were successfully into the industry, but then you also have now left us and moved to, well, Chicago and then LA because that's where the work is, right?
Yeah, and I feel like LA is still a scary place for me because I haven't really gotten a chance to experience it. Right after I moved here, the lockdown was official and I was quarantined, so I still don't have the full LA experience. I can't speak on it, but all my friends and coworkers in film who's moved here are doing really, really, really well, and they're all having a great time and fun until now. So I think we're all in this together. But Michigan Film Alliance, Creative Film Alliance, that's when it started, and I officially the professors were like, "What role do you want to do? What are you interested in? Which department?" And I'm just like, immediately I was like, camera, and they were like, "Which position do you want to try out for?" I'm like, first assistant camera. Like at the time, I just knew like first assistant camera, like pull focus and did some of this. Like like the not the full responsibilities, but like the key. Like this is what they do, and this is like what happens. So like, I was interested, but I didn't end up getting that role that I wanted. Somebody else did, and I'm really happy for them. And also, so I was assigned DIT, and I was like, "What is a DIT?" I had no idea what a DIT was. And also at that time, we were just a bunch of students trying to figure it out with the guidance of professors who have experience and have like students they taught that is working out in the field, and they'll come in and teach us what a locations manager was, what a DP was, what an operator, what we each did. So, but on that 30-minute narrative, I learned a lot about what a DIT did, and I had a lot of challenges learning how to communicate with one another in the department. Figuring it out as we go along. And then from that, the DIT role kind of led me into, that program let me out into doing other things like a production assistant. Because there was a lot of film in Michigan at the time. There was like, there
was tons of
Transformers. There was what is that? Yeah, there was a lot of movies coming in at the time, and they were looking for PAs and location PAs and just like, and they would come to Wayne State and they would start recruiting. The professors in our film program would start recruiting certain students to go out in the field to get credit and to get a paycheck at a time. So I think I got really lucky knowing Juanita and being close with a lot of the professors there that would like pull each of us out into the field and get a real set experience, what it really feels like. And I learned a lot during that my senior year.
So I just want to interrupt you here because I have a question for you. How tall are you, Lee?
Mm-hmm.
How tall are you?
What's that? Actually, how tall I am?
Yes.
How tall am I? I'm 5. I'm 5. Okay, I used to 2, but I was told I was 5'1". So I'm short I'm 5'1".
So you're 5'1", and I only asked that because
But for all my life, I thought I was 5'2". For all my life, I was like, "Oh, I'm 5'2", and I keep telling people I'm 5'2". And then one day, I went into the doctor's office, and they were like, "Oh, let's get your height, 5'1".
Well, I just mentioned that because I think the camera packages are really some beastie camera packages, and so I've got a picture. I'm going to bring up your Instagram here because let me see, share screen. If I can do, I'm going to share the screen so that we can see some of these packages that you've worked with. So I think people really, they don't know how big these cameras are when you pull them all together. Let me see if I can figure it. There we go. Oop, I just liked it. Well, that's good. So you can see how big that camera is. So what is going on here for the people that don't know?
Those cameras could go up to like a good 50, 60, 70 pounds.
How many?
Depending on the build, like studio mode. There's like different builds and stuff. So that was It could go up to 50
Yeah.
pounds. We have weighted one camera here and there. Like after the build, like it could go. I think there could be some, especially on like a film 35mm film camera. One.
So you're carrying these around too,
On
right?
on some of
Or
the
you're moving,
like
helping
it could
people
go
up.
up to like it could get pretty heavy. It could get pretty heavy. I've seen builds heavier than the ones on those cameras, so I think it could get heavier.
Well, so this is the kind of equipment that
all the builds there are actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
They get pretty heavy. They get quite heavy. They get very heavy. Usually the heavier builds are usually on tripod or on like a dolly or on like sticks, and they're never really handheld. So with handheld builds, they try to strip it as light as possible.
Yeah. So what do you have to do in order to be able to?
But all those photos you're showing me are the DP for a lot of those they're showing me is Litong Zhen. You know Lan.
Yes.
So I've learned a lot working with Lan. And he bring me out to first for him. So those are like a lot of his builds get really.
Oh look, this is I think this is on our shoot right here. That's so funny.
Yeah, that was the shoot. Yeah.
When we were doing I think we did Detroit Eats, and I think the first time I'm gonna take this back here. I think the first time I can't remember, was it on Detroit Eats or was it you did some stuff with the mayor too, didn't you? For some stuff for the city of Detroit.
So for what was that?
Mayor Duggan, did you help me with? Were you at one of his announcements or something?
I'm gonna try to refresh again because I can't hear.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna refresh.
Yeah, go ahead. That's all right. She'll be back. Let me see here. In the meantime, look, hey, it's another. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Maybe someone can say if you can hear me or not. It looks like 2 people are watching right now. And at least today I was able to figure out how to see the different comments on the screen. So that's pretty cool. This is an old shoot that we were on. Maybe, I think this was when the incentive was like, the incentive was happening quite a while ago. Litong, she's going to be back in a second here. Let me see. Ooh, there she is. Let me add to her again. Branding, and there we go. Hi. Are you back? Can you hear me?
Hi. Yeah. Yeah, it's better than before.
So I think you did one of the I think you did the mayor's announcement with us, right?
Yeah, that was with you and Rapskate and Lan.
Yes.
Lan, Rapskate, you. Yeah. And then we were like at the convention center and we were like running around
downtown. Yes.
It was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah. Those are like still, I would consider, that was fun. That was like still my earlier days with working with one of the very first projects I worked with Lan as his first AC focus puller. Yeah. And I owe a lot of my focus for first AC experiences to Lan and to a lot of the DPs and operators in Michigan, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have gotten this experience and know what a first does and what it's like. And then back to that question you were asking, what's the difference between the first and the second? I think I've second a lot. Again, I enjoy each position as its own, and every position has its like own key responsibilities. And as a second AC, what's the difference between a first and a second? Is the second AC immediately assists the first AC. On a first AC, we each have our own key responsibilities, but I think we're mostly there for the first AC on a project. Mm-hmm. And then we're also in charge of overseeing, like, because a lot of times the first AC is pulling focus and he can't walk away or run away from SAD. So we're there for him to basically be his informant, kind of go-getter. You know, we also slate and we also assist with batteries and many things. But a lot of times we're there I think in camera department, each person is immediately assisting the person above them. Mm-hmm. So the first AC is the first in command for the director of photography, and they're like the director of photography, like right-hand man. And as the second AC, we're like the first AC's right-hand man, like first in command for the first AC.
Yeah. So if you want to, oops, she went away. She just disappeared. Oh, there you are. You're back. Is it working? Oh, she's gone again. Well, I'm Carrie Lazat. I'm your camera ready coach, and I've been talking to Litong Zhen, who just recently moved to Los Angeles from Detroit. So we've lost another really amazing crew person here in Michigan, but she's on to bigger and better things. Well, bigger and more consistent work, working in Los Angeles. I mean, not right now because of COVID, but eventually I'm sure she'll be working consistently and all the time. She was working a lot here in Michigan, but I think she'll be able to make a better living and work more because she'll be in Los Angeles. So she just moved there at the end of February, and oh, there she's back. So I was like vamping. Can you hear me? Are you back?
Connection issues. I am back a little bit. Yes, I keep having connection issues. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm going to edit it later, so it'll be fine. Let me ask you. Okay. So, or if you can explain. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, okay. What was your question?
I was going to ask you to talk to me a little bit about what goes on in a camera prep, because I think that, you know, even myself, like I sometimes forget that when I hire certain people that we have to do a camera prep. So because the smaller crews usually, you know, there's so many owner operators, or the way that I've done things in the past because I own my own gear, I forget that I'm supposed to do a camera prep. So if you want, can you want to talk about a little bit what goes on? Because I think that people just assume that. Can you hear me at all? Yeah. Okay. So what I'm saying is, like, what goes on in a camera prep?
You said on.
What's that?
I don't want to. Can you hear me?
Can you
hear me? Okay. Yeah. So your question is that you said on a smaller camera prep, on a small crew, when you
just in general, like what happens? Why do you do it? Why does a camera prep happen?
Why does the camera prep happen? Is it so you could test out the package, the camera, to make sure everything is functioning and running? And basically it's like a fail safe where you're testing every piece of equipment, everything, the lenses, the battery, the camera body, the monitors. Like you're testing literally even tables. Make sure when you're actually out in the field filming that everything that you could prevent from happening, malfunctioning, could be prevented if you're out in the field shooting. And usually that is the first AC's job. He'll go in and do the prep and things. And then if it's on a smaller job, on any job, it would always be the AC in there. And then the rest of the camera department too, if it's approved by production, like the second AC, the DIT, the loader, the utility will also get the prep to prep EQ responsibilities to make sure that everything functions the unit. But on a smaller project, it could, like smaller projects, you could have one camera package, but then on bigger projects, you go up to easily 3 or 5 camera packages on one shoot. A TV show, maybe 3 cameras, 3-4 camera packages, and then you bring in a team for each of those cameras, and they do the preps for each of those cameras. But it's every time it's 2, because in production we shoot long hours, long days, and stuff like that. And I think having a prep day is important because once you're out in the field, if something malfunctions, if something happens, if a battery dies because you didn't test out the battery, and that was what's causing the problem in the camera, or if a cable is bad,
right,
and you didn't test out and train out, and something happens, you're eating into your production time. You're like wasting time trying to troubleshoot this. So you're basically preparing yourself for anything that could happen in the field and prevent anything that could happen from happening. But sometimes when you're out in the field, things still happen.
They still will happen. Yes. Mm-hmm.
What bad things from happening, but you're preparing yourself for the unforeseeable things that could happen. So anything challenges could pop up, and then you want to face those challenges, and not the challenges that you're like, oh, I could have prevented this, I have prevented. I think it's more about being prepared and just being on schedule, technically speaking.
Right. So nobody's waiting for the camera. So let me
scheduling smoothly.
Let me ask what advice that you might have for someone that is thinking about going into the camera department, or they want to have this for a career, what would you recommend for them as far as what's the best way to start working?
What's that? Sorry, breaking up again.
What's the best way to start working? Well, we'll wrap it up with this question. So I guess, what is your recommendation or your advice for someone that wants to work in the camera department? What do they need to do in order to make that jump?
Wait, what was that? Sorry, your break. I didn't get the whole question.
I think I can chat. I'm gonna ask you.
I didn't get the whole question.
Oh, sure. No, it's just what do you recommend, or what advice would you give to somebody that wants to do this for a living as well? That they're thinking about the camera department and they want to start doing what you're doing. How would you tell them to go about getting into it?
Like you said, what's my advice for someone who wants to be in camera department, who's starting out?
Yes.
I feel like each person, I think each person have a unique story of how to get into camera department, or what is the right path for them to get into camera department. I think for me, I can only speak on like my behalf. What was for me is like getting to see how a whole production really works. Like not just camera department, but how a set really works. So I think getting into camera department is understanding set, like how it works. And then once you understand how a set works, you get dragged into whatever department you're interested in doing. This is not just camera department, it's any department, like AD department, art department, post-production, like any department, I think is similar. You have to understand. And then, because I think right out of film school, like even to this day, I'm still questioning myself every day. Like, did I choose the right path? Did I choose the right career? Is this what I really want to do? Do I still want to be an operator? Do I want to DP? Do I want to first? Or do I want to, like, if I get opportunities, this is what, like, I always have these questions.
Well, Lee, I can tell
you, for me, I'm still learning a lot.
I think, I've been doing this for probably
I'm still learning a lot. So I think so I think it's understanding SAT, understanding each department, and then like what you truly want to do. And if sometimes like your calling is, if camera is what you're interested in, let people know that camera is what you're interested in. Let your producers know, let your directors know, let your camera department know that that's what you're interested in doing. I think how you're gonna get there is, I think it's still one step at a time, baby steps. Like if you're interested in equipment, like learn about equipment. I always like to like learn about new gear, and I think in Michigan, I've noticed in LA, just that 2 weeks here in LA, like the transition here, and it's just like, wow, there's so much gear that I don't know about or I have never seen in person, but I've seen online, So, and then LA is so much bigger. Like the market here in LA is so much bigger. There's so many more equipment. There's so many more ways of people doing things that they're a certain way where like it's like mind blowing. Like, how if I didn't come out here, I wouldn't have seen this or seen how these people work, or these crews here work, and locals. And even in Chicago too, at the time, like Chicago, the crews had like very specific ways of doing things, and like very like it's like in Michigan we had a very established way of doing things too, and everybody's just learning from one another. And I'm just like, wow, this is the vibe here. This is the vibe here in LA, and it's like there's still so much to learn. So I think for somebody who wants to join camera, just let people know that you're interested in doing something and then pursue it. For me, I still don't know where I'm gonna go with like my path and what I'm gonna do, but I think just keep being persistent, pursue it, just give it your all. I think for me, it's like
plugging away at it, because you still.
And then once you get into camera department too, it's like figuring out like, do you want to DP? Do you want to be an operator? Do you want to be a first? And do you want to second DIT low utility and everything? And I think to really truly know what you want to do, you have to really experience each position for its own and understand and also love it. Like some people are like, I want to first, but I hate seconding. But then you have to second to understand, I feel like firsting in Michigan have allowed me to understand what I want from a second. when I'm firsting, and then when I'm seconding and working with different verses, I learn and I learn different versus ways of things and their techniques and stuff. So I feel like, and so now I'm like understand what my first, being a first helps me understand my second, being a second helps me understand my, and it's like vice versa. It's like, but I think long term, like, what do you want to do long term? Like, I think my long term aim is like, I would love to be a focus puller, like long term, and I keep going that direction. And sometimes I tell myself like, I want to do something creative, and AC is all technical. So I want to do something creative. This is what so I still have these questions, but I would still like questions on like, I think everybody have those questions along the path. Like, do you want to pursue something different? This is what you want to do.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, you'll have those questions your entire career.
So I think right now it's just
like, what do I want to do? And I think when you're also a creative person, like you can suffer from shiny object syndrome, and like there's things that will pull you in different directions, and then you go in that way for a little while, and you'll go do something else. And so, but I'm sure you're going to do really
even
well
on small projects. Sometimes I feel like on smaller projects. On smaller projects too, when you don't have when the project is just when you're going out and shoot with a very tight budget with just the DP, with just first, with no second, no nothing, it's just DP in the first. Then here's the thing: the first will oversee and overlook. The second usually doesn't have to take up and have to take on some of the second responsibilities. You don't have a second, so you have to understand what second does to take on those responsibilities. And then if you're kind of neglecting one thing and not the other. So I think understanding what each position does is important. Like, we all, and then even for utility loading, like downloading cards, there's key responsibilities for each position. And I've noticed myself too when I'm on a job. I'm like, God, I don't want to be a loader forever. I don't want to be a utility forever. I don't want to be a second forever. I don't want to even first forever. Like, I want to deal with this. There's like love responsibilities for each position. So like being a focus puller is scary because like you're constantly you're pulling folk. You're like,
I think that is the scariest position.
It's scary, and then you're always like, and you're pulling focus on these on someone that you can't afford to go soft on or buzz. So it's just like the pressure's high, and everybody knows when you're like
when it's wrong.
So very challenged with that, like difficult pulls, like and then for a second. With a second AC, like sometimes if you have a good working relationship at first, like your responsibilities get so heavy. Basically, the focus pullers pulling focus, and they know like you're handling everything. So you're handling basically everything within camera department first, so they could focus on their job, and you're running around doing so many different things, responsibilities. You're charging batteries, you're swapping lenses, you're also keeping equipment in check that's coming in and out of the department and stuff. This is on a bigger scale up where you're like in charge of like even crewing up, or you're like a key AC. And so there's just so much, even to this day, I'm still learning, no matter like what position it is. Like even if I get hired, agree to go on a job as a loader, I'm just like, wow, these are the challenges I will face. And then it's been a while since I've done it because I've seconded so long, but I agreed to work on this job as a loader, and the job would go on for like maybe 5 months. So now you have like challenges as a loader, like this is what you're doing daily, every day. And then things arise, and then you're just like going back to that dance. And then, or if you're a loader and you're just to take on a second job, and now you have to like ditch that loader mode and go into your second AC mode, and when you're getting promoted or getting bumped down, bumped up.
Right.
So I think there's challenge in every position. I think it's a matter of being comfortable with doing something.
So what are you watching right now? What's your favorite?
Being comfortable.
So when you're watching, like for some of these shows that you're watching, what work do you really see that you're really excited about right now? Some of these shows that you're catching up on. Can you hear me?
It's been a very long. Yes, I could hear. I've been watching a lot of Community. I feel like I should have seen that a while ago and got into it, but it was hard for me to get into like the first couple episodes. But once I got through like episode 5, I fell in love with Community, and I've been binge watching that, and I think I'm on season 5 now. And it's been helping me cope with this whole process.
Okay.
It's been nice. And I've been watching the TV show. I've been working on Mythic season Raven's Banquet on Apple TV. So I watched season 1. It's on Apple TV. That's the show I'm on, and that's on high on that's
say the name of it
hold
again.
Until further notice.
What
is that?
What's the name of it again? What is the name of the show?
What's that?
The name of the show.
It's called Mythic Quest. Oh, the name of the show is Mythic Quest.
Mythic Quest. Okay.
It's on Apple TV.
On
Season 1's out. Season
right.
1 is out. And then season 2 is currently on hold right now until this thing is over, and then before we all go back to work. So season 2 is not out yet, but season 1 is very good.
Well, good. Well, Lee, next time I talk to you, I want you to plug into the internet, and we'll have a better signal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry about the signal. I don't know if me or.
That's all right. That's right.
The signal's just been really bad. I've been like refreshing like every time.
I know. Well, we'll have it next time. It'll be worked out. Yeah, I think you have to be plugged into the wall, and then it'll be fine. But if you want to say goodbye to our audience, and then I will. Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye.